Uli Jon Roth, welcome to 69 Face of Rock. How are you doing today?
Once again, I'm doing fine. Yeah, we're just coming from Chicago. We're now in Westland, Detroit. And yeah, looking forward to tonight's show. And yesterday was great. Reggie's, the crowd's just always amazing there. It's always a joy to play for the Chicago people. And St. Charles was just out of this world. The stage was so nice. Ron Onesti, the gives us this big introduction. Um, Sometimes it feels like we're right in the 50s TV show or something like that.
Every now and
Yeah,
then we need that.
yeah.
Um,
So,
so Uli, each time you do a tour, you always have some kind of a special theme to it. What are the audiences being exposed to this time?
you mean a theme?
Yeah,
Yeah. Well, this time is yeah, there's more one than one theme, In
correct.
fact, we've got themes coming out of our ears. There are two completely different shows every night that we're doing. And the reason for that is that we're making good for the um, tour, which was canceled due to COVID, was canceled twice, and then a third time even. So that was my one man solo tour, Interstellar Sky Guitar, and so I'm now bringing that. But I thought after all this time, I also got to bring the band, and that's why the second half of the evening is the full deal with the rock band, and the first half is yeah, more my unusual stuff.
Mhm.
I'm playing some of my classical pieces that I interpret on the sky guitar, like Vivaldi's Four Seasons. I'm playing some Mozart pieces. I'm also playing a lot of my own. Some of them were written specifically for this tour. I'm doing some flamenco on a nine-string nylon sky guitar. And last but not least, I'm introducing my new book, In Search of the Alpha Law.
We'll get to
And
that. Uh,
yeah,
Having seen the show last night, I had the experience. It's absolutely wonderful. I think everyone should see this show because it's one of a kind. Now I can see it. Um, as you prepare for these tours, you often bring back songs that you haven't played in a while. Do you find
yeah,
yourself rediscovering some of these songs in the area of your songwriting of your younger self?
yeah. Actually, yeah. Like on this tour, we're bringing a piece from Under a Dark Sky, which was released in 2008, and that's a song we haven't played since then. It's Land of Dawn. It's quite an epic, a 10-minute piece, but I think it's one of my better
Yeah.
efforts, and the whole band and I, we're enjoying very much playing it every night. It's a very different color. It's got tons of melody, and it's got some complexity, but yeah, it always works every night. And we look forward to doing it.
You also do a very nice tribute to your deceased brothers, by playing one of these songs. Can you
Yeah.
maybe tell me a little bit, actually not me, but tell the audience a little bit more about Zeno, but because he might be not as known as you, but he was amazing.
Yeah. He was more known in Europe. Uh, well, he was an incredibly gifted songwriter and superb guitar player. Um, there was this band Zeno in the 80s, and he wrote many great songs for them. Yeah, the band uh, could have been huge. They had an incredible record deal with EMI, but things didn't go as planned, like yeah, there were management problems. There was this, there was that. In fact, no, it wasn't actually management problems. It was, I think, the band just wasn't ready for the next step, and the record company made a lot of mistakes as well back then. So, yeah, they had a huge record advance, like £1 million, but then the record company forced them into just doing the most expensive studios all the time. And a lot of that was wasted. By the end, £1 million was just used up on 1 year's production on the album, which was overkill because the thing that made them get all this attention from all the record companies was that they did a demo recording in a small studio in Hanover, under very simple circumstances. And that demo recording was quite legendary. Every record company wanted to have them, Geffen, and yeah. So, but it was a bit of a tragic story because they could have become one of the big bands, but it never really fully took off.
Mhm.
But yeah, my brother died like 5 years ago, in 2018, 5 years, it's almost 6 years now, I guess. And but he left all this beautiful music, and so we've been incorporating this song into our set, and it fits beautifully.
Mhm.
When you play this song on a festival, and the people don't even know it, it's always a winner
Mhm.
because it's classic 70s rock of the best kind of there is. Yeah.
And it's so amazing that he's got you to keep his memory and music alive.
Well, I mean, that's the least I can do, actually.
Yeah. Um, are you surprised that the material you wrote and recorded with the Scorpions and Electric Sun some 50, 40 years ago still resonates with the audiences?
Yeah, I guess it's nice that this is the case, and one shouldn't take it for granted.
Mhm.
There was a time when I first left the band that I took it all for granted, and I wasn't interested, and I left it all behind me. And then throughout the years, I realized how much it actually meant to a lot of people in the audience. And that's also why I still play these early Scorpion songs, because there's quite a few classics there, and the Scorpions don't have them in their repertoire anymore. Also because I'm not there anymore, and it was kind of we had a very colorful team. So the new Scorpions are really very different. And some of these songs wouldn't fit the bill, I think. But people told me, look, if you don't play these songs live, nobody will. And there's a huge audience asking for, In Trance, Virgin Killer, Fly to the Rainbow, Tokyo Tapes. So I started doing that as a test balloon, kind of almost. And then I started enjoying it, because I'm putting a new spin on it. And it is quite amazing that we're still able to do some of these songs that are nigh on 50 years old now, and they sound as fresh as if they were written yesterday. So that is quite something. Yeah.
That is. That is. I'm thinking back to like 1999 when I first spoke to you over the phone, and you were even reluctant to even talk about that period of your life back then.
Yeah, what did I say? What did we talk about?
You just kind of said that you really had very limited interest in that part, uh, at the moment. But look what happened over the years that you actually came to rediscover that music and realize that, hey, people want to see it, and I'm the only way
Yeah,
who can bring those songs back to life.
yeah, yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Um, so this year, it marks 20 years since you kind of resumed your live playing in the United States. Tell me about rebuilding your audience on this side of the Atlantic.
Yeah, it wasn't an easy journey, I would say. I mean, there was always um, uh, a listening fan base there ever since the days of when we first toured with Electric Sun. When we played with Electric Sun in the mid 80s, we had full houses pretty much wherever we went. In 2004, I mean, I had an absence of touring full stop for 13 years. I didn't play at all. played no shows, you know. So when I first started out again, yeah, I had to kind of rebuild a lot of that base, you know. And I remember the first American tours were enjoyable, but each time they were big money losers, you know. I mean, every single one lost a lot of money in those days because it's so expensive to tour, you
Mhm.
know. And but we persevered, and the audiences picked up again. And now this tour is my best so far since then, you know.
Mhm.
We're now kind of back where we started with Electric Sun. We're filling the places, and the audience seems to be loving it every night.
Mhm.
So that's a great feeling. So whatever we're doing right now, it's working, you
Definitely.
know. And uh, and we're all enjoying it. And you know, it's physically, mentally tough because I get way too little sleep,
Mhm.
and I've got yeah a lot of things on my shoulders because when you're in a band, you can share these things. You know, in this outfit, if there's an interview like with you, it's me who does it. You know, yesterday I had four, including two television interviews. Then I had like two meet and greets, 3 hour show. You know, and in the morning I was video editing my background videos for 3 hours. So the days are quite demanding, and often I get to bed like at 3 or 4 o'clock, which is not my cup of tea, because I'm more an early riser normally, you know. But that's you know that's what it's like here touring, you know. I guess when you're in the Scorpions, you know, you have 2 off days and then you have one show day, you know, and you're like pampered in the only luxury hotels. They don't do the tour bus anymore, you know.
Mhm.
So those things are easier when you're in a really big band. But we're doing what most bands are doing. We're on the tour with our tour bus, touring up and down the country, and it has a lot of charm. You know, we all love touring America. It's yeah, it's always a special time of the year.
Having
Yeah,
seen
the
you.
audiences are that's great. I love American audiences. You know, they're so enthusiastic. They go with you. You
Mhm.
know, they don't ask any questions. They're open-minded. You know, in Europe, sometimes you have these people standing in front of the stage, you know, like impress me. You
Mhm.
know, if there's an artist on stage, yeah, you can deal with that, you know, but it's more fun when they're more like that, you
Mhm.
know. Yeah,
Uh,
they're they're just enthusiastic, warm, and honest, you know, and yeah, I like that a lot.
Chicago in particular is one of your stronger areas. On the average, you play
That was wonderful.
shows, a show at Reggie's, show at Arcada. I'm surprised you haven't played the Displains Theater yet. What
Well,
would
and we did Hobart, you know, and all three shows were like really, really nice, each one completely different. I enjoyed all three, and there were some people who went to all three, you know,
yeah.
because it's an area. Yeah,
Um,
Chicago is definitely one of my best cities in America.
def
Always has been.
You have another big anniversary coming up. This year, you're turning 70, which is a milestone for you and a
Yeah,
musician.
that's in December. Yeah,
Yeah, I
December
mean,
18th. I share the birthday with Richards. Yeah. So I don't know what he's turning. He's quite a bit older than me, but
mhm.
he's still going strong. So we shall see how I make it into the 70s. You know, if I make it, you never know. You know, you could be there tomorrow. I've learned that the hard way last year, you know, how fragile it all is. And so I don't take any day for granted anymore like I used to.
I have friends and relatives who are no longer with me who never got to be that age. So like you said,
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Exactly.
yeah.
You know, it's actually a privilege, you know, and yeah, a lot of people die way too young, way too
Um,
young.
Absolutely. So let's
Some
enjoy.
of the best ones, some of my best friends, they're just gone, and it's tragic, and I miss them.
In
I miss them all.
few years ago when I spoke to you in person, I want to say 2012, I told you about a friend of mine who was a huge fan of yours and he passed away and you actually dedicated a song to him on stage, which
I
was
did.
yeah,
I don't actually remember that, but that sounds like me.
yeah.
So what's his name?
His name was Alex and he was a huge fan and I asked you if you could play a song for him and you specifically asked me which song and I'm like the one that feels right and you pick one song and it was beautiful. It was absolutely heartbreaking.
Ah, okay, yeah. I used to be very free flow on stage. I used to go out there without a set list and we just made it up, And oh yeah, how about that one? How about that one? And sometimes the results were of mixed quality, But that was a particular time in my life.
Yeah.
Now I'm a little bit more corporate. I still take a lot of chances, and every night there are sections that are completely improvised, long sections even. But on the whole, now our set is structured because I've produced all these films, and they're running in sync with the music. And once I start messing with that, then I'm just taking away like 50% of the goodness.
Yeah.
So even I have to conform to these realities of life. And some part of me is enjoying it, is enjoying the total structure. Yeah.
Um,
Another part always wants to rebel, but I keep that in check.
I certainly like that rebellious part as well. It makes up for some really unpredictable instances on stage, which I love. Um, anyways,
Well, yeah, I was always unpredictable. I hope not in a nasty way, but yeah, I like basically I like surprises. That's my thing. I like surprises, and if they're not nasty, I enjoy them, and I welcome change with open arms. If it's not like a change for the worse.
that's
Sometimes,
been the case.
sometimes even that happens, and then we have to deal with it. I mean, that's life.
True. One of your longest collaborators is guitarist David Kwashinsky. It'll be 12 years since he joined. So, how did you find David, and what do you like about playing with him?
David, I became aware of him because I was one of the judges in a nationwide guitar competition in Germany. Yeah. And that was quite a big competition. It was called the Robert Johnson Award in Hamburg. And so we checked videos that people sent in, and he was in the top echelon. And as soon as I saw him play, there was something that I thought, that's the guy. And sure enough, he made it to the last three in that competition, and there were a lot of participants, and some of them were really good. And I think he made second. He wasn't yet fully developed then. And so I took him under my wing, and yeah, he's really my. You could say, not that we ever like sit down like teacher, and so it's not like that. He has a good ear, and he cottoned on. I think he learned a lot from me about sound,
Mhm.
and that in the beginning he was not so aware of that, but now he's very good. And he also learned, apart from his ability to play lead, and he's really good at doubling my more intricate leads, including the vibrato as much as possible. So we have a lot of harmony guitar on that stage. And we have unusual harmony guitar, not just your normal bread and butter kind of stuff. And he masters that, and he blends in with me. That's very nice. And he's also really good at accompanying. And like a song like Little Wing or so is so hard to play for most guitar players cannot do it. You know, they die a horrible death when you're on stage with them. You're either shredding all over. So they, because in songs like that, you have to just do what's right, and it's very little sometimes. He knows exactly what not to play and when to play the right thing, and that's very rare. That's very rare, and he's gotten really good with that. You know, so to have him on stage is a real asset. And other than that, we're also good friends.
Oh,
You
he's
know,
got a great sense of humor.
I love him. Yes.
Um, Before this interview, I actually texted
And he
David.
taught me some Polish.
I know, right?
Taught me some Polish. My first word was czerwony, so which means red. Because when I learned in language, I was asking what's the colors, you know, and słońce, the sun. He taught me that at Reggie's. I remember that, you know, when on our first tour at Reggie's, we were outside. I said, "What's that?" Słońce, the sun. I said, "That doesn't sound like sun." Well, actually, maybe a little bit, you know, but then białe, and all these words. So I called him Czerwony. So his nickname is Czerwony. You know, I say,
Okay.
"Hey, Czerwony," and everybody knows it's actually David. You know, and he responds to it.
Yeah.
You know,
Um,
it's cool.
Before this interview, I actually texted David to find out what he likes about you. And I'm gonna hit you with some of these things to see how you respond.
Okay. Oh
This will be
boy.
fun. This will be fun. So, first of all, he loves your attention to detail, your phrasing, and your timing.
Okay.
Um, he likes how it's more about creating the right feel rather than playing the right notes.
That's true. Yes. Yeah, I don't mind wrong notes occasionally. We all do that, but the most important thing is the quality and the inspiration of the general flow.
Okay, we
Sometimes freeze frame,
yeah,
freezing up. It's either your Wi-Fi or mine.
yeah.
I
Well,
don't know.
the next thing that he's told me is that over the years, he's learned to listen to you more while on stage, but he also feels that you are listening more to him, and that's what makes that special connection.
Mark,
Yes?
yeah, I only heard the sentence over the years he's
Okay.
learned.
I'm,
That
I'm
was
gonna
that.
I'm gonna repeat it because we're experiencing a
You're
few.
constantly freezing up.
Yeah. Uh,
You're freezing up. Is there something wrong with your Wi-Fi or mine? I don't
uh,
know.
I think it's a combination because you're freezing on mine as well. So I'm gonna repeat this question again. So over the years, he's learned to listen to you more while on stage, but he also feels that you are listening more to him while playing, and that's what makes that special connection.
Yeah, true. Yeah. I'm always hearing everything on stage. I hear literally everything, you know, it's multidimensional. I hear every note the drummer plays. I hear David's stuff. I hear the bass, the vocals, my own thing. It's multidimensional, you know. Sometimes I don't hear the keyboard so well on this tour because we don't have a dedicated keyboard amp. And if he's not in my monitor, then that I don't hear so well.
And the final thing he told me is that he likes how you play with the music, and because of it, it's always different from night to night, even if you play the same set.
Absolutely. Yeah. I'm constantly reinventing the pieces, and for me that's so important. You know, like a song like says Sharon, every night the entire middle section is completely different, and I like it that way. It's we're going on a journey, you know. And when I do my flamenco thing, there's just a few notes that are the same, but I don't play them the same twice ever. And then the entire thing is basically completely freely improvised, like 10 minutes of it on the 9-string guitar. And sometimes it really works. You get the greatest magic that way, But then some evenings when I'm not happy with the sound, then yeah, then I'm not. Then I'm struggling to make it perfect. I mean, it happens. But most of the time, that piece, it's you go into that zone and then it just flies.
Mhm.
And I'm going with it. I never know what's happening. Yeah.
I absolutely love those insights because even though I watch you closely when you play, I could never probably see some of those things unless I was a musician myself. So yes.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
early in the
Well,
interview,
yeah.
early in the interview, you mentioned the book, right? Uh, in Search of the Alpha Law, right? Obviously, that's what you did during the lockdown. So tell me more about this book.
Well, uh, the book is a labor of love. I started writing it many, many years ago. But and I made a lot of progress. I almost nearly finished it once, but I was never quite happy um, with the tone or whatever. Something was missing um, because a lot of it is to do with music, and it's the hardest thing to put musical things into words. It's
Mhm.
actually pretty much impossible. And to me, that was quite a challenge, that aspect alone. But a lot of the book is dealing with my personal philosophy of life, stuff and things that I've learned over the years to be true or not true, at least from my own perspective. That's what's in the book. And the book, it's the stuff that's close to my heart
Mhm.
and my way of thinking. It's not scientific. It's a little pseudo-scientific sometimes. I'm explaining things in a very unusual manner. And it has a strong artistic touch also because I wanted it to be a unified piece also of work of art. That's why it has 1,000 images and illustrations. And I completely designed it myself because I just wanted it to be one with the text. And so it was a very new and unusual way of writing this book. I wrote it in a design program, and while I chose the pictures and did the layout, I was writing the text. It took about 1.5 years. It's massive. It's heavy. It's a coffee table book, 600 plus pages, and I've already started the next one.
Wow.
So there's plenty more where that came from. I tell you what, it isn't. It's not autobiographical at all. So I don't really appear in the book. It's none of that. It's not none of the stories of what we experience on the road and so on. It's nothing of that. It's all completely different. It's really a book about uh, similar to what I teach in Sky Academy, but my idea of how to get better, to get to the next level of whatever that is for you as a person, as a musician, but also a human being, because I always believe in quote unquote self-improvement or whatever these, I mean,
Mhm.
sound. How about that?
I know, right? Um,
So,
I actually saw the book
yeah, I
yesterday.
can pick up,
Yeah.
I can pick up,
I actually got
you
a chance to
what?
see the book yesterday. David showed it to me, and I looked through quite a few pages. And like you said, it's not a biography, but in my opinion, it it was almost like the key to understand what you do and what you're all about.
Yeah, yeah, very much so. Very much so. Yeah, yeah, you got that. You
And
know,
what be
it's
done?
all about tapping into. the um, the many positive things that the universe provides. I mean, they're there, you know, and steering away from the negative. Both is there. There's a definite yin yang. It's always plus minus. Everything is plus minus. And, you know, we have the privilege to be able to pick which side we're on, you know. Do I want to be a person who walks through life bringing a little bit of a positive light, or do I want to be, you know, miserable and make everybody's life hell? You know, it's, you know, in a way, it's that black and white, the ultimate choice. And then the reality is probably somewhere in the middle,
True.
you know. Yeah, the book has very much to do with ideals and lofty aspirations. So it's not like a guidebook how to get from A to B, but it's supposed to be inspirational and provide the reader with some ideas. Some of them very left field because my mind works a little differently than most people's. That's why I'm an artist, you know. If it didn't, people wouldn't come to see my shows. And so basically, that's why I'm presenting an unusual view of things, you know, and some people might find that interesting.
And many do. I mean, both of your shows were filled with people who actually do find it interesting. So
Yeah,
there's
yeah, which
finally,
which is nice. Yeah.
finally, are there any other projects in the works that we should be aware of?
Yeah, in the summer, I'm going to spend the summer doing oil paintings. That's something I used to do in the past, but haven't done for many, many years for various reasons. But I've gotten bitten by the bug again. I'm going to produce some of these. And for next year, we are working towards doing some orchestra appearances. And I'm pretty sure that we'll be back in America as well, with a slightly different configuration. I'm always bringing a different
Mhm.
setup. But yeah, now that we've got our 3-year visa, nothing can hold us back, you know.
That's right.
Yeah,
Sky's the
we're
limit.
every month.
Uh, well, thank you so much for speaking with me, and I wish you a lot of luck with everything.
Yeah, we can always need a lot of luck, and you too.
Thank you so
All
much.
right. Thank you, Mark. Bye-bye.
Bye.